Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a stream is ending end of season stream. I want to thank everybody once again for joining in on us on what was a very wonderful season and, more importantly, a very significant one. And the reason why this season is so important and significant is naturally because it's the beginning of 2024. It's the first season that was entirely recorded on 2024. So it marks and embarks the beginning of our new journey. I hope that the content that you have been watching has been of your liking and entertaining. We have gone through 3 wonderful games to begin the year, and I hope that we have managed to make a good product of them. The first one we played is an already well-known one. I think we have played it before, but only once. I'm not sure if we played it twice, but I'm sure we played it once. And that game was Mario Party, the first one, the original one for Nintendo 64. We played it, and I felt it was very fitting because of that message we sent about the Christmas party and the Mario Party, right? And that was about it. That was mostly the reason why that was chosen as the first game. But it's also a cheerful kind of experience, right? So I feel it, even though we lose a lot, the game is very inclined into being difficult and a continuous losing experience, but still an enjoyable one. It's a party in which you end up laughing because you lost and you end up laughing because of that. If you're with friends, you end up being slightly more frustrated if you're playing it by yourself, and you end up feeling that you need to play it in another way if you play it against the computer, right? That's my opinion on the subject. Whilst I am not playing it with other people and just by myself, I still feel more inclined to that sensation in which you lose, but you still kind of laugh about it, right? So it's okay. It's difficult, but it's okay. We still have many more social commentaries on Mario Party, but I think I will leave it for a later time. Hopefully I get to remember them. But I think that summarizes, or at least is able to give the cue forward into development of the opinions that I am mentioning regarding Mario Party. It later became apparently easier, and some people were bothered about it, but I believe for different reasons. It may not be surprise to anybody that the game is seen as a competitive game rather than an enjoyable kind of experience to have with friends at a party, right? Let me ask you this. If you went with a couple of friends, let's say one of your friends is throwing a party and it throws it at one of those arcades where there are bumper cars, would you think that the most fun thing to do at the bumper cars is to trash other party players' cars? Or would you just bump your cars randomly and have a laugh about it, right? I guess it can turn out both ways, and I remember playing Mario Party in a more competitive way when I was younger, but nowadays I think it should be revision, and it's kind of difficult if you are actually attending with other people at parties, because everybody just needs to refrain it themselves from overstanding or something like that. I feel it's a long way to go, at least for me. I haven't met people with similar mindsets in order to be able to forge an opinion, a more detailed opinion on the subject. The second game that we played was Euro Truck Simulator, and as I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, I am still unable to find why it hyped so much. I understand that the game is good, but could you say it's that good to create a whole movement around it? I don't know, maybe. Like, would you say, I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing. Right? It's a weird phenomenon for me, right? I don't know. I'm more used to very different games making hype, right? So I can understand why I like something. I can understand that other people may like something for the same, similar, or completely different reasons, but I still fail to understand other aspects in social behavior. In other words, even though I can understand other people liking something, I cannot understand why many people like something. I know it's kind of incoherent because it's just saying, well, if one people likes it, why not many people? But from that same perspective, why not all people? Every single people. And if someone doesn't like something, why not no people? None of the people ever. Right? So those kind of concepts are beyond my comprehension, and therefore I fail to understand trends and phenomena like this, right? Nevertheless, we play the game beyond social aspects, right? Because I still don't understand them. Though I found that I wanted to experience a relaxing traveling experience. I have always enjoyed driving, even though I haven't been able to do it that much throughout my life, but I was able to do a couple of noteworthy trips, especially one that went from New York to Virginia, back and forth, naturally. Well, not naturally, but it was back and forth, and the New York to Virginia tram was very, very emotional for me. Like, it was very endearing, and I hold it close to my heart, and it was entertaining, fun. I got to see a lot of the scenery, and this game reminded me a lot of it and made me yearn for that, and at times it even managed to surpass it, right? Because you are, well, with a lot more responsibility, I would say, but it depends, right? Because if you take it into greater extents of immersion, then you know that you shouldn't be crashing against other cars and stuff like that, or making driving offenses, and it can end up being perhaps about as difficult as driving an actual car. But I don't know, just opinions on the subject. Nevertheless, the game was highly enjoyable, and I certainly hope that we go back to it soon. Regardless of our necessity to use cheats, because some of the content is a little blocked in our perspective. But oh my god, if this game had blocked content behind the necessity of cheat walls, don't even get me started on the next game. The next game that we played was Empire TV Tycoon, a game that is, by all other means, almost perfect, except for the fact that it's brutally difficult, right? So it's a very big change of pace from the previous mentioned game, which is supposed to be a relaxing experience. Nonetheless, one in which we also got a couple of game over screens. Is that even a thing? Maybe we're so bad at it. We needed to use cheats on Euro Truck Simulator, but Empire TV Tycoon, we didn't even need to use cheat. We needed to learn a whole language dedicated to making cheats. So I'm highly appreciative of Empire TV Tycoon because it took us into a new world, a new era. The era in which we are now learning how to use cheat engine, right? It's kind of a well, I think it's kind of important, right? It's a new hit in terms of all the possibilities that we could potentially achieve with the engine, right? We were already using cheats. We used cheats to make the game go the way that we want, because the way that we play games is a way that a director will direct a movie, with a sense, a purpose, with a goal, with personal quirks and preferences, right? And whenever those are radically far away from the original intent of the game, we find ourselves in the need to get cheats, right? And in this particular case, the game turns very difficult very fast. And the problem being that the game itself seems to lend for a lot of creative ground, but a lot of creative ground that ends up giving you punishment, and punishment that ends up extending and sinking you into a place that you are unable to get back into in afloat. So from that very perspective, as mentioned, it is how would you say it? It is a very important lesson in life. Life itself is tough, it's difficult, and if, I don't know, whatever external force has it against you, and that external force could potentially be more powerful than you, then chances are you are going to be unable to float again, just like with this game, right? At least that's just a personal perspective. We're obviously entering into themes of religion again, but beyond the subject, I believe that the game ends up being too difficult. But on this game, it's for a reason, or kind of. The reason being that the game is intended for the most part to be like an arcade game. An arcade game with a high score setting that you are judged by at the end of your run. Nevertheless, the game does have, or as far as my research went, the game started being a normal mode in which you will eventually, it seems, either win or lose according to metrics. And after that, it released an endless mode on a patch. But with that patch existing with an endless mode, I felt that the AI that you're competing against just doesn't cut you some slack. And at this particular moment, I am not even talking about the AI given by other competing channels. That is already bad enough to see your channel being stomped upon if you're not taking exact decisions based on cause and effect, on the result-driven decisions, right? Rather than creative and sandboxing and with free choice. I don't know how to explain. But anyways, the game, I feel, ends up becoming difficult and everything just goes against your throat. Right at the end, we managed to use the cheat engine, but I didn't want to use too many cheats. I didn't want to just have it trivial. I wanted to still have it entertaining and playable. We managed to get out of debt no less than 3 times, selling out all of our available material, turning us into a channel that was not going to be a channel, because we were not going to have any movies to be shown or TV shows or anything. And we got back into red numbers again and again and again. And we were unable to just leave that cycle of poverty. That is something I criticize about it. But like I mentioned, it seems the game's intent is for you to eventually either win or lose. If you're losing, you're going to lose. That's it. It wants you to lose, get a high score, laugh about it, and get on with it, right? It is more or less the example that we were given with Mario Party. If you go at it with a mentality of, oh, I lost, and don't care so much about it, then I guess it's okay. But if you take it a little more serious, like if you take it a little more personal, if you immerse furthermore into it, I just think it becomes unpleasant, right? Unpleasant. And unpleasant is what we found out when we were waiting for an award ceremony to give us something for winning something for a movie that was not even bad, I believe. And I feel it was played right. And we just didn't get anything. We didn't get anything at all. And our poor character just went into bankruptcy. I don't know what to do. As of this moment, I am recording the video that goes after all the videos have been backed up. But I still haven't backed up the videos. Thus, I'm not sure where to clip that video. The other problem being that I fell asleep because I was extremely exhausted. And waiting for the award ceremony, I just ended up falling asleep. So it has over half an hour of me sleeping. In other words, nothing happening on the game. And I'm not sure if it's worth having all that gap of lost material only to see our eventual loss. Right? Call me a sour loser, call me a bad loser, call me a resentful or a person with no sense of humor, call me what you will, but in reality, all that wait and all that wasted time there, I'm at this particular moment considering clipping off and only leaving it until before the award ceremony. So it's a little more fun to just not know what happens than to receive such a bad ending, right? Well, that was a very powerful sentence which I just said. Bad ending. That happens quite a lot in some video games, doesn't it? I don't know what's gonna happen. But stay tuned. Hopefully you get to see the video on demand. I'm going to be meditating it quite a lot, especially because it's over half an hour of dead time, so it's kind of bad. Although we could get because what happens after that is just like a 10-minute video and it's not that aesthetic, right? I will be meditating a little bit before the actual backup happens, but not too much, because otherwise we may end up losing our Euro Truck Simulator video due to the end date and the expiration date happening in less than 24 hours, right? So we are perhaps not in that much of a rush, but definitely not I don't know, no, we shouldn't just take it too lightly, that's what I'm saying. Anyways, once again, thank you very much for joining in on us today. I know this went a little long, but in reality, I like these games a lot. I feel that their shortcomings, even though they can be surpassable and they are maybe just shortcomings from my perspective alone, I feel that keep both things, give a little more controversy to the game. At the same time, it provides more powerful emotions, but I'm not certain that they are necessary. In the end, I feel at times that giving good emotions, even though the game doesn't become controversial, it still can be enjoyable and you can keep a good memory of it rather than just a powerful yet bad memory of it. It can still be a powerful and good, and if it's not as powerful, sometimes just having a good memory of it is enough. But I'm not gonna lie, my masochistic side, the one that tries to solve problems, is going to go over and over all of those game over screens for all of those games and all other games, and it's going to continue trying to find solutions. So I'm not even sure if it's a 100% complaint scenario. Well, I won't be holding you back for any more time at the particular moment. I want to thank you once again for all the continued support, hoping that I get to see you and many more participants on this upcoming year that is going to be... I don't know what this upcoming year is going to be, but at the very least we are hoping to have enough strength to continue doing our labor, which is at this particular moment perhaps not being as praised or known or cared for by others, or as many others as we would want, but that we still do with hope and care and ambition too, but not just ambition, more I don't know, in the end it's ambition. Let's not, even if we masquerade it with another word, it ends up being ambition. We ambition for our videos to be the very best. So yeah, it sounds bad, it probably is. It's greed and it's ambition, but nevertheless we hope it fits a better purpose, or a bigger, better purpose that just is convenient to us and all of those that follow us. So if you follow us, you are probably wondering why I am overly excusative on the subject, but yeah, I guess that's just the way I am. Nevertheless, let's all toast together and hope for an even brighter future for the channel, the community, and our content. Without further ado, bid you farewell, hoping to see you at a later date. It will be until then. Welcome once again to 2024. I will talk to you at a later date. Bye.